Lineup for you tonight. DJ LeMahieu leading off at second base. Anthony Rizzo will be at first base tonight. Aaron Judge is out there in right field. He homered in last night's game. Joey Gallo, you got a feeling a nuke is coming soon from Joey Gallo. He is out there in left field. Giancarlo Stanton is your DH tonight. Gleyber Torres is at shortstop. Rougned Odor back over there at third base. I guess they have not seen enough of that experiment. Kyle Higashioka is behind the dish, and Brett Gardner is out there in center field. And on the mound, Jameson Taillon. He is 7-4 on the season with a 4.11 ERA. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month for July. Overall, 20 starts, 102 innings pitched, 98 strikeouts. He is the last man standing from the opening day rotation. Everyone else is either on the IL or the COVID IL. We need a big start from Jameson Taillon tonight. Cannot lose 2 out of 3 to the Orioles.
Just what the doctor ordered.
This is the 643 DP podcast with Derek and Patrick.
What's going on, babe? Welcome back to the 643 DP podcast. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy, joined by the man, Derek Lewandowski, aka MYY Recaps. How we doing today, Derek?
I'm good, and my dog's obviously happy. You see her wagging her tail behind me.
Looks like you're having a great time. Also, your hashtag Ridings Rules. That's something we're going to talk about a bunch today. That's going to be a real fun time. But listen, shout out to everybody currently in the chat. Let's take attendance/roll call. You guys know the deal. Who do we have in here? We got Ed King, Lori, Jess Dominguez. We got Stevie Bats, Austin Lugo. We got AB, Christian Vasquez. We got Spades. We got Jackson, KG Baseball. Chabuzi, love the name. Appreciate you all for stopping by. You guys are absolute legends. But, Derek, we have a pretty fun show today, only because I feel like there's a lot that has gone down with the Yankees since last week when we did 643 DP. And one of them is that the New York Yankees are back. I'm sorry. I'm saying this right now. We're starting off today's show with a bang. Just because, Derek, I'm telling you right now, the New York Yankees, I'm still sticking with this. I don't care what happened the first game of the Baltimore series. The New York Yankees are winning the 2021 AL East title. Do you disagree?
I disagree.
Why?
I think they got off to
a slow start.
Well, they got off to a really slow start. They haven't shown me enough against really good teams. They still don't hit with runners in scoring position, and 4/5 of the rotation is currently on the injured list. So I'm just not optimistic about the next 10 days. This is a stretch where you're really supposed to beat up on these teams, and good on them for beating the Orioles last night. But you've got a bunch of guys out over the next week or so. Gio's still out. I'm just not confident that this team is going to dominate the way we think they're going to dominate over the next 10 days. It may very well happen.
Yeah, but hear me out, right? You're only, if the Yankees win today because the Rays already won, you're only 6 back of the division. Like that, I consider that nothing with the roster that this team currently has. Obviously, losing Cole and losing Monty and losing Herman, that diminishes your hopes a little bit. But I still think I look at this team and I think that they're very capable of going on some ridiculous stretch over the next 20 games or so and overtaking that American League East. I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional for thinking that. A lot of people say, Pat, you're delusional. I don't think so. The way I'm viewing like the Yankees season as a whole right now, I'm considering that second wildcard spot a lock. Like right now, I know we're looking at the wildcard standings. The Yankees are what, like 2 games back of that second wildcard?
Yeah, I think the wild card, I don't say it's a lock, but I think the wild card is probably a much more realistic goal. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I'll take Garrett Cole over any other ace in a wild card matchup. Home or road doesn't matter. And the Yankees can still get through the playoffs if they get to the wild card. But catching both the Rays and the Red Sox, the Rays got better. The Red Sox are still really good. That's going to be tough, man. With Boone fucking pirating the ship. Or piloting the whatever. I just don't see it, man.
I don't see a way that we don't make the second wildcard spot. Like, Derek, I'm saying this like I'm not delusional. I know this 100%. People are going to be like, Pat, you're a super jinx, this and that. I'm guaranteeing right now the Yankees are at least making that second wildcard spot. Now, let's just say, like, hypothetically, you go into that, like, 1-game wildcard game. I really like our chances going deep in the playoffs, and I know it's a little bit too early to say that. Just like you said, Garrett Cole is going to be your ace on the mound. First time we're really having like a true ace on the mound for a wild card game, because 2017 and 2018 we had Sevy start both of those games. 2017 was obviously rough. We're not going to get into that right now. But I think you examine the Yankees roster as a whole, and I know like they struggled what night was it? Monday against the Orioles? Yeah, Monday against the Orioles. But then they rebounded pretty nicely tomorrow. And that's why I'm kind of looking at tonight's game. I don't want to say it's a must-win game because I say this every single night. But if there was a game you needed to win, it's tonight. I kind of look at the Yankees schedule. You have to win every single game, especially if they want to win the division. So tonight against Matt Harvey is it's going to mean a lot as far as the Yankees' direction goes for the rest of the season, right?
So we talked about before we got on that Harvey's been pitching really well. So Harvey is going to be a test for this lineup. This is not the same chump that you saw last night, and he's already pitched well against the Yankees this year. This is going to be a nice test for this lineup that now has some lefties in there. What's it going to be like to try and navigate through this lineup now that you've got Gallo, you've got Rizzo absolutely destroying the baseball so far. Gallo, I think he's 2 for 15, 2 for 19, something like that. I think he's going deep. I've been saying it the last 2 days, he's due. I believe in due. This guy doesn't average a home run every 12 at bats for no reason. I think he's going deep tonight. And I think the Yankees will win tonight, but still just the way that the rotation is looking over the next 10 days, it's got me nervous.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with you. Like, I think the Yankees are going to win tonight. I predict the Yankees to win just about every night, unless it's like a ridiculous matchup that isn't in their favor. But I kind of view Matt Harvey as like the opposite of Jorge Lopez, right? Jorge Lopez was coming into the start in the Bronx. The Yankees kind of ripped him apart his last few starts against them. He wasn't that good. I believe he gave up like 5 runs to the Tigers or something like that coming into it. But Matt Harvey's like the opposite now. He's coming into Yankee Stadium hot. I don't think he's given up a single run since the All-Star break. We're talking about like 3 starts at this point where he hasn't given up a run. So I think he's going to walk into Yankee Stadium, think that he's going to cruise. But I think we're going to have a lineup that's going to have a decent approach against him. I think the Yankees kind of need to take that approach that they take against like good pitchers. Whenever they face good pitchers, they always seem to have like a methodical approach up there. And then when they go up against bad pitching, they go up there and kind of just swing for the fences every single at bat. Yeah. And just see 100%. What's going to happen. So I think they need to take that approach tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting when you see him battle somebody like, remember that White Sox series earlier this year when they battled Rodon? It's like the defense rose to the occasion. Jordan Montgomery rose to the occasion. The offense rose to the occasion. I feel like they need to treat every game from here on out like that series where it's like, hey, they might be so good that they're bad. Does that make sense? Like,
no, it makes a ton of sense.
They've been so good for so long that they just kind of took for granted that they were going to walk through the AL East this year. And it took them getting punched in the mouth for a few months and having to make some roster adjustments to be like, hey, look, we got to turn it on. And I think they have turned it on. I mean, despite the 3 losses to Boston, I really felt like they could have easily won 3 out of 4.
For sure.
If not for a couple bad innings. Then they take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. And then obviously the bad start against Baltimore. But last night, the first laugher in a while, I'm feeling good about the team. I just don't know if I'm feeling division good, but I am feeling beat Matt Harvey good. And one thing to add on about tonight, I think Yankees fans are going to be rough on Matt Harvey. They are going to have a ton of energy. Anytime somebody gets on base, we're going to be hearing Dark Knight chants or whatever, they're going to be
the fans
all
been rowdy.
over.
They've been real rowdy as of late. I give them props
great.
for that. But yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what like adding new additions to this team means. Like you have an entire new clubhouse chemistry. You have just vibes are high. But listen, shout out to Jesus Travis with the $5 dono. Appreciate you, Jesus. He says, what's up, Pat and Derek, the living legends? Feel good today. Let's go Yankees, baby. We're going to give it to Harvey today. Let's go Yanks. Ric Flair. Woo.
Nobody messes with the Jesus.
Appreciate you so much, Jesus. No, but yeah, Derek. So we're kind of like talking about like fresh faces, whatever. 2 guys made their debut with the Yankees. Well, 3 guys actually, but 2 of which I kind of want to focus on here. Just because shout out to Brady Corner. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I wasn't too impressed with him. But let's start things off with Luis Gil. I finally figured out how to pronounce his name yesterday. I've been calling him Luis Hill for the longest time. Apparently it's Luis Gil. But I was so impressed with him. Now, the vibe I got was like a better version of 2020 Devi Garcia. It's just like, he just like had like that confidence on the mound. He just had like that impact. Derek, you could shake your head all you want. That's the vibe that I got from him. Just like how you compared Ridings to Edouard Ramirez. I'm comparing him to Devi Garcia.
He's way better than Devi Garcia. his stuff is just light years beyond Davy Garcia, who he actually kind of reminded me of Luis Severino when he first came up.
That's fair.
Or a little bit of, you may not remember him, but Ivan Nova when he first came up.
Derek, I'm not 4. I remember Ivan Nova.
I just don't know if you remember when he first came up.
No, yeah.
He pitched very similar. He threw harder than he does now, obviously, but he was 97, 98 when he first got to the big leagues. He had a better hook. He didn't have quite the command that Heel had last night. And the word around the campfire is that Heel doesn't traditionally have that good of command. But I look at his mechanics and I see somebody who's a lot more polished than I anticipated. We talk about Clark Schmidt and how he always falls off towards first base. The thing we saw from both of those pitchers last night was that all of their momentum was going directly towards home plate. That's how they're able to throw 99 miles an hour. Nolan Ryan used to talk about taking every bit of weight you have in your body, every bit of mass, and driving it all towards home plate. And that's what Luis Heel does. He had a nice simplified first half of his motion. He came to a nice balance, and then he drove down the mound, and he was pretty much directly over top. And when he would finish, he was in a good fielding position. So I think he's going to actually be a good fielding pitcher as well. As
I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
No. Finish.
I was going to say, as for his stuff, I feel like his fastball is ready. He still needs to work on the slider a little bit, but he's close. Like, I think he's going to be a really good pitcher.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, obviously, the Heel was definitely impressive last night. But I think, unfortunately, kind of like looking at how, like, the Yankees rotation and bullpen's kind of going to be looking down the stretch here, I just don't see him fitting in at all. Especially with Severino and Kluber coming back, it's so difficult to kind of like find a way to piece him in. I was trying to like figure out like an ideal bullpen / rotation last night, and I could find a way to like fit in Ridings, because Ridings is an absolute stud, and if he continues pitching the way he did last night, I think that they have to find a way to keep him there. But like to work Heel in there and get him like consistent spots in that starting rotation, it's really tough, especially with Heaney. They're not going to really be doing anything with Heaney, so I think, while like what he did last night was impressive, we'll probably only see like 1 or 2 more starts out of him this season. But I think it's still a bright future for him. I mean, especially going to like spring training next year, I think he could like definitely make a name for himself and insert himself into the rotation plans for next season. That's why I'm kind of thinking more 2022 for him rather than this year.
Yeah, you're right on the money with Heel. So he got sent down after the game last night because he was a COVID replacement player. But odds are he'll probably be able to come back next turn through the rotation. It makes no sense to keep him around.
I think Saturday Sunday he's supposed to be.
So you can still bring him back. I think he's going to get one more start. If he pitches well, it's going to be hard for them not to give him a third start. But you also have to factor in that this kid didn't have a minor league season last year, and he's already got a ton of innings this year. So I think at some point they're naturally going to shut him down, probably in September, but this is his moment. This is his cup of coffee. He may get a couple of more starts. He's got to capitalize on it. And then, you know what? He enters next winter as a favorite for like a number 5 spot in the rotation.
For sure. And honestly, like we're talking about these guys. I touched on him very briefly, but Derek, Steven Ridings, we're talking about a dude who I have not heard of his name before last night. When the Yankees said that they called up Brady Corner and Steven Ridings, I looked them both up. And you look at Ridings, bro, I'm like, a 6'8" dude from Huntington, Long Island. How have we never heard of him before? Because this is like the definition of like a Yankees pitcher, right? Massive dude from the New York, New Jersey area, easily. And then he comes up last night. You could just tell from the bullpen that he looked like an absolute dog. No pun intended with your dog in the background. Bro, the confidence reeking off of him. He looked like he was the only man in the stadium last night, the way that the vibes were just coming off him. Then he comes in, absolutely dominates. He has like a 101 fastball, 98-mile-an-hour sinker. Where has he been my whole life?
So I'm not sure if everybody's aware of his backstory. He was actually released a couple of times. Yankees picked him up. And the reason we didn't see him earlier in this year is because he was still kind of figuring it out. He might be, we've seen this happen before. A lot of guys put it together in their mid-20s. You know, they're expected to be a prospect in their early 20s. Everybody looks at the size. Everybody looks at the arm. Go look at Randy Johnson's statistics from early in his career. It wasn't until his mid to late 20s that he became Randy Johnson. The taller you are, the harder it is to get clean mechanics because you've got more moving parts. You've got longer legs. You've got longer arms. And we're going to see occasionally, weird, wild pitches like that where he missed at 101 and nearly killed the guy. Go look at the John Kruk play from the pitch from Randy Johnson.
Oh, that was from the All-Star game, right?
Yeah, 93, 92, something like that. Sometimes these old guys or these tall guys, they can struggle with their release point because they're getting down the mound and the ball is so far out from their hand. They're like releasing it behind the hitter's head, right? So I feel like he's just a guy that, based on his minor league numbers, put it together late. He seems to have mastered the control. I would not send him down. I would let him learn on the big league level from that. If he gets hit occasionally, whatever. He's got incredible stuff, and he's got the demeanor, the moxie. I am all in for Steven Ridings.
No, I love him. Derek, I made a joke on your stream last night. I want to marry this dude. I want to, bro, I would do anything just to speak with Steven Ridings just because he's an absolute stud. But that, I understand, he has, the repertoire to be a dominant reliever with the Yankees. And that's why I kind of said earlier, if he continues pitching at this level, there's no chance they could send him down. Now, he'll obviously, even if he does do good in his next start, there's a really solid chance they send him down. But as a dominant reliever, this could be, the perfect replacement for, Deivi Garcia. He's honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, he's everything that we thought Nick Nelson was going to be for this team.
Yeah, Nick Nelson, he had kind of the same reaction from fans. I remember last year I did a video about Nick Nelson the day after, just like I did for Ridings today. But Nick Nelson, he came up as a starter. They moved him into the bullpen, and he's never really had the command, other than that game, really. I mean, he's had maybe one or two games. I remember opening day this year, he pitched pretty well, I think. But, I just don't trust Nick Nelson in a big spot. You look at Nick Nelson, and he's got those kind of unsure expressions on his face where he's not feeling super confident in himself. I felt like I was going to need some smelling salts to wake up Riding last night because, well, not really. He was pumped up, but it's like nothing could bother him. He was basically immune to the pressure.
No, yeah. And I don't know. That's what I like to see, only because, listen, I know I don't know how this stream's kind of turned into me knocking Brady Corner the whole time, but I got that sad puppy dog look from him when he was coming out of the bullpen. He looked like he was kind of overwhelmed by the moment. But Ridings, on the other hand, bro, it looked like absolutely nothing could face him whatsoever. But I saw a lot of people in the chat are saying that the A's just tied the game. That kind of sucks. Padres, what are you good for at this point? So let's just say hypothetically,
frickin' Melanson.
Yankee legend, by the way. But let's just say hypothetically the A's do win tonight, and the Yankees lose. Then they'll be 3 games back. But if the A's lose and the Yankees win, Derek, we'd only be at 1 game out of that second wildcard spot, which I think is huge. I think that honestly, that's why I kind of view it as a lock. We just need the A's to stop playing so good, and then we'll be a little bit satisfied here. But yeah. So kind of shifting back to the current state of the Yankees or whatnot. Have you seen Greg Allen as of late? Because Derek, I'm very pissed off that every single time we hear Brian Cashman talk, there's zero mention of Greg Allen being a possibility for the Yankees in center field. And it seems like every single person wants to see him there besides Brian Cashman and the Yankees analytics team or whatever. Brian Cashman continually says that Brett Gardner is the Yankees' best option in center field. There's no chance he actually believes that, right?
I think he does believe it. There's just a different energy when Allen is in the game. I don't know that Allen is going to be a superior player analytically or statistically even, but he brings a different dynamic. The game isn't all numbers, despite what the eggheads will have you believe. Having a guy on first base who might actually steal a bag and not steal a bag 20 years ago changes the way you pitch to that hitter, right? It doesn't show up in the box score. It doesn't show up in the analytics. But it changes the mind state. A guy who takes the extra base is super important. Gardner still can go first to third, but I would trust Allen to go first to third a little bit better. He's a little bit faster. And despite Gardy being an excellent outfielder, I think Allen is just as good out there. I don't think either one of them have much of an arm. But, that play that Allen
apparently Greg Allen has a solid arm, apparently.
I haven't really seen it, but you wouldn't think it would because he's a little guy, but I mean, it's possible.
No, yeah.
But
as far as what I remember, I think when they, how they show that red light, green light, whatever, I'm pretty sure he had a red light. He was top 40 or something. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. But yeah,
I wouldn't think he's made enough throws to really Judge that, I want to see him
Yeah.
make some more throws. But just that play he made in Tampa Bay where he, stole a play where he diving on the turf there to take away a line drive with Chapman on the mound, that changed the whole complexity of the game. Gardner plays that on a short hop these days. He's a half step slower.
No,
And
yeah,
that's
1000%.
that's why they say this game is a game of inches. Despite everybody just discovering analytics and just discovering all these things about baseball's been around a long freaking time. And anybody who's been watching a long time has seen all this crap before. There are things to the game that are not computable. They're not quantifiable. There's an intangible aspect. They're showing up in a big moment. You can't measure Derek Jeter's clutch gene with analytics, right? Derek Jeter was at best an average shortstop for his career defensively, but he's never going to throw away a ball in a big spot. He's never going, you hit it to him in the 9th inning of the World Series. He's going to hit the first baseman in the chest with the ball. Promise you. So there's just certain things in this game that you can't rely on the computers for. And I think the Greg Allen and Brett Gardner debate is just one where you have to rely on your eyes. And Allen's a better baseball player.
Yeah, and this is the argument that we have all the time. And I'm like, why does it seem like the Yankees only rely on analytics when the numbers show what they want them to show, right? Because if you look at the analytics, as far as like Brett Gardner goes, he's literally, Derek, dead last in Major League Baseball in expected batting average and expected slugging percentage. Dead last in baseball. So I look at the Yankees analytic team, and it's the same analytic team that didn't see anything in Hoy-Jun Park, and that's why they only gave him one at-bat in the big leagues, and now he's raking with Pittsburgh. The fact that they let him go, and it's the same analytic team that views like Brooks Kriske as a better option for the organization than Luis Cessa, it's mind-blowing to me sometimes how like these analytics guys just are so oblivious just to the game of baseball, to the fact where like you look at Greg Allen, a young switch-hitting center fielder who has a better arm, I would say equal fielding, and a better bat than Brett Gardner, but you refuse to play him over Gardy for whatever reason. That's, bro, it boggles my mind. That's why I get so pissed off on stream all the time.
So Tyler Wade, let's talk about Tyler Wade for a second.
Sure. Yeah.
When you put him in the outfield, he is an absolute stud at running down balls. I would rather see him out there in center field than Gardy at this point, even though he's got little experience, just because he's looked so good defensively. And I actually, think that he could hit better than Brett Gardner. He's not a 190 hitter. Last night he picked up a nice hit. He had that big triple in the Kluber game. Now he's not a home run guy. He's not a power guy, but he can beat you in, certain ways if he gets on base. So, I think Gardner right now would be about 4th on my depth chart for center field alone. I would have Allen as number 1. I would have Tyler Wade as number 2. And I would still have Hoy-Jun Park as number 3. And then Brett Gardner would be number 4.
I'd probably agree. No, I probably agree with you. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I like to use the eye test a lot of the time just because everyone knows like I suck at math so much. So I hate looking at like numbers and advanced analytics and stuff. Like if I use the eye test, I would probably say Tyler Wade, the inspirational man that he is a better center field than Brett Gardner. Like that's just how I would. But I guess if you go deeper into the numbers, he's not. I don't know. But Derek, question, comments, concern for you. We're looking at the Yankees rotation. How serviceable, like, do you think this actually is over the next, 10 days or so? Like, because as of right now, I'm fairly confident in it, right? Despite the fact that you don't have Montgomery, you don't have Cole, and you don't have Herman. But it could end up, biting them, very badly, in the sense that, I think the only thing that might save them is that they're going up against really bad teams.
So Andrew Haney, I have no confidence in.
Same.
To me, he feels like a guy who is going to pitch himself into the bullpen. He was lights out for 1 inning, but once he got around to that second time through the order, and the stats agree with this, he's just really bad that second time through the order. But I could see him as a useful lefty out of the bullpen. I just don't know if they have and Mike King is out too. We're really lacking depth. We might actually see somebody like Davy Garcia have to get a start over the next week.
I wouldn't mind.
The Yankees are going game to game. I think they're going to need to rely on the offense, and the offense hasn't been there. That's why I'm kind of, I guess, bearish on this next 7 to 10 days. But hopefully Luis Severino can come back strong. Kluber can come back strong. But at that point, is it going to be too late? You'd like to get into that shore up that second wild card spot. I mean, and not shore it up, but have the lead. to where it's like, okay, if we just control our own destiny, we'll be in the playoffs. That's a good feeling to know if you go out there and do your job, you can make the postseason. And that's a lot better than we thought this team was going to be, about a month ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm just not confident about the pitching. I think the offense is going to have to really step up.
I agree. And that's why I'm kind of like looking at the guys starting tonight. And now all of a sudden, a month ago, we looked at Jameson Taillon as like one of the most underperforming guys in the Yankees rotation. Now, with Garrett Cole out, Jameson Taillon's like the Yankees ace, especially like with the way he's been pitching lately. Bro, I can't say enough good things about Jameson Taillon and the fact that he's going to be pitching at home tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. I have very, very high expectations. So, Derek, I guess we can make a little prediction here. How many innings, how many earned runs do you think Taillon's going to give up tonight?
I think he's going to pitch pretty well. I'm going to say 6 innings, 1 run. I think he's going to continue his hot streak. I'm saying maybe 1 walk, 7 strikeouts.
I'm going to say, I'm going to one up you, Derek. I'm going to say 7 innings, 1 run. And I think we're going to see like 7 Ks, 2 walks.
This is one time where I hope you're right. If we can get seven good innings out of him, I'll take it. I'm also hopeful that you're right and I'm wrong about winning the division, but I've seen this story a few too many times.
No, yeah, listen, I know it's a long shot. I know the division is a long shot, but it can't hurt. It can't hurt to be positive. Like, I don't understand like why it's so difficult for so many fans in the Yankees fan base to just like wipe out like all those negative vibes and just, bro, it can't hurt to be positive about this team, especially like with the current roster construction. You look at Anthony Rizzo, you look at Joey Gallo. Unfortunately, like we have Brett Gardner and Kyle Higashioka in there tonight, but like you look at like a consistent lineup that this team can throw out, and there's no reason why you can't be positive about them, even if they do have one brutal loss against the Baltimore Orioles.
Can I just say something? Somebody in your chat bought a Rolls. Another guy saying he bought a Lamborghini. We got some. Where are the donos? We got some stingy dudes in here if they're buying these fancy
Where's
cars.
SB Games when you need them,
dude? I drive a Nissan.
Bro, there's no shot that we got like Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces in here. No shot. You know who does have one? Nestor Cortez Jr. And if he doesn't, he deserves one.
I've got Rolls that I'm going to put like some egg sandwiches together with in about
no,
half an
same.
hour.
Let me ask you a question, Derek. So you know how like I think last time we were talking about like our little rallying cries, right? I got Rally Rod. I should probably get him in a second before the Yankees lose tonight. Everyone's like, "Oh, Pat, you didn't whip out Rally Rod, super jinx." How's Mr. Pavano doing for you?
Oh, he's doing great. I mean, the Yankees have won 5 out of 6 since he joined, so we're off to a good start. I need to get him a belt. By the way, who do you think's winning the belt tonight? Let's get your belt prediction.
Oh, that's a good prediction. I would like make like a joke and I would be like, oh, like Tyler Wade, but like there's no shot. I would say belt. I don't want to take yours. I was going to say Gal. I'm going to go Rizzo. I'm going to say Anthony Rizzo is going to win the belt tonight. Only because like I think he's just been the definition of red hot. And I think it's only a matter of time until we see like a multi-home run game from him in the Bronx.
Joey Gallo.
Joey
Gallo's. I think he's going deep at least one time tonight. And I think it's going very, very far. That's my prediction for the night.
What do you think the final score is going to be?
I think the Yankees are gonna put down the hammer tonight. I think it's gonna be about 9-2.
I think that's fair. I mean, it's
I know
tough
Harvey's been great, but Harvey's been great lately. But I think his magic's about to run out.
See, I'm viewing it in this sense, right? I think Harvey's magic is gonna run out, but I don't think it's gonna like completely crumble. I think he's probably gonna go like 6 innings, give up like 2 or 3 earned runs, and I think the Yankees win tonight by a score of like 5-2. Yeah, 5-2 sounds about right for me. I mean, like
all I care about is W, baby.
How often this season have we seen like multiple games where the Yankees score like 8+ runs in like a span of 2 nights?
Not a lot, but I'm crediting the upgraded offense. Now that they actually have some lefties and they have a little bit of speed if they need it, I'm thinking the offense is going to be capable of beating up on pitchers that they should beat up on now. Aaron Judge going deep last night, Giancarlo going deep. That means, and they were a little bit late. They both took the ball to right field. I think they're both going to lock in here over the next couple of days, and you're going to see multiple home runs from both of those guys. And I think that's going to force you to pitch to Gallo because you've got Judge swinging the bat. You got Stanton heating up. Who are you going to land on? Well, Joey Gallo. Maybe I can strike him out. Going to have to feed him a fastball at some point, and I think he's going to put it in the bleachers.
I love Joey Gallo. I love everything
too,
about that, man. Let's pull up a couple donos here before we do wrap things up. Oh, wait, also, let me get Rally Rod before we wrap things up here.
Got to be prepared, man.
Oh, yeah. No, usually I have Rally Rod, like, chilling on the floor right here or, like, under my desk. But, Derek, look at him. Look at him. This man right here is the reason we're, like, what? We're, like, 7-1 over our last 8 games or something. Rally Rod, coming at you. But chat, now you guys can't call me a super jinx if the Yankees lose tonight because now we got Rally Rod. But let's pull out these donos. Jesus Travels with the $5 dono. Appreciate you so much, Jesus. He says, let's go Yankees. I drive a 99 GMC Yukon.
Can I do the sounds? Nobody messes with the Jesus.
You're something else, Derek. And then also we got who else? We got Brian Cashman. A little bit stingy. $2 dono from you, Brian. Appreciate you, my man.
He gives you money and you call him stingy? How about other people giving zero? How about those motherfucking stingy people? What the hell?
I mean, listen, because if it's Brian Cashman, you know, like.
Oh, I got
I'm expecting, yeah. I'll give you Ambergy and Allen for Rally Rod. No. Maybe. If we're talking cardboard cutouts, possibly it would have to be after the season ends, though, because if I gave up Rally Rod like mid-season here, people would actually riot.
By the way, where the hell is Ambergy? I know he went down
a
while ago. Yeah, is he back to the minors yet? I haven't even looked.
No, it's so weird because you remember when the whole cat fiasco was going down the other night. They panned to the dugout. Ambergy was in the dugout.
Huh.
So I don't know I don't know if he's still rehabbing. I have no clue what the deal is with him. But I have no idea. But that is going to be wrapping things up for this edition of the 643 DP. As usual, you guys know the deal. I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Derek. If you don't subscribe to his channel, NYY Recaps, he posts like some highlight clips from these streams on there. So definitely go check them out. Derek is the man. You guys know that, though. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We go live for the 643 DP on this channel every single night before, well, not every single night, every single Wednesday night before the Yankees game or after if we have an issue. But I go live on this channel before and after every single Yankees game. You guys know that. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you after the game tonight for the post game. Peace.